tea. These are farmers who had planted purple tea, and the area that they planted purple tea, they had hundreds of thousands of purple tea bushes. For instance, in one of the areas, we found a farmer who had over 7,000 purple tea bushes. Those farmers who had average knowledge, they had less than 200 bushes in their farm. And those with poor knowledge, actually they had 2 to 3 bushes. Actually, those were just trying, and some of them were just planting along the fence. It was just a trial error. The rest didn't adopt. Sorry, something happened. Oh, here I am. Now, the good thing about purple tea, or the good news, is that the number of new farmers adopting to this purple tea was rising. In 2010, it was about 1.4% of the farmers who had planted purple tea or who adopted immediately. And by 2013, the number had risen to 26.1%. That showed about 207.6% between that period of time. Unfortunately, the production still remained low because of various factors. One of the reasons why production was low is that most of the purple tea bushes were still immature. It takes about 3 years for purple tea to mature, or for any tea bush to mature. So by the time we are doing our research, most of these purple tea were immature. And on average, farmers in Mount Kenya region harvested about 2,120 kilograms of purple tea leaves annually. Although the adoption was very, very low, with about 68.7% of the farmers indicated that they'd want to adopt purple tea cultivar. The potential was rated as medium to high, and this was because of the following factors. One, it was because of its economic value, economic and medical value. When the purple tea cultivar was introduced, there was that deliberate effort by KTDA to market the cultivar. Through farm field schools, they went to the field, educated farmers about this purple tea, and therefore the 17% adopted the cultivar. So based on that, we had those number of farmers who adopted. However, there were emerging nurseries as another opportunity. There were emerging purple tea nurseries. Farmers were, those people who adopted the purple tea started propagating purple tea seedlings. Some of the KTDA managed factory started the nurseries, and this led to easy accessibility. Somehow, the accessibility of purple tea seedling was a bit easy. Also, there was willingness to establish purple tea processing plants. To most of the factories that we visited, there was that willingness of the factory unit managers to start purple tea processing plant. These are some of the tea nurseries in Mount Kenya regions from purple tea farmers. There were challenges that are hindering this adoption. One of the challenges is there were few purple tea processing plants. Although there was that goodwill to start the processing line, but there were very few. Actually, there were 2 processing lines. There were 2 processing factories. That is Kangaita and the Njero industry. Njero is just a private developer. The size of land, which was mentioned yesterday, it has been decreasing. There is a lot of subdivision of land, subdivision of bushes, and most farmers were not willing to uproot the green tea cultivar and plant the purple tea because of the time that it will take, and this was their source of income. There was market uncertainty. This has been mentioned so many times, and surprisingly, this led to the slowed effort by some of the farm unit managers to promote growing of purple tea. There was inadequacy of purple tea planting materials. As much as farmers were coming in, and some of the KTDAs had started tea nurseries, 87% of the farmers depended on seedlings from the factories. But only 21% of this factory, of the 37 factories, had nurseries. So there was that challenge of getting or accessing the planting materials, and the distance was so long. Some came all the way to Kericho, some went to Kangaita. There was inadequate or lack of tea processing facility, I've mentioned that. And also there was unwillingness by some farm unit managers to popularize adoption of purple tea. This was mostly because of market uncertainty. They were not aware where to take the product, and so they did not promote. From 2013, there was that slowed effort to popularize this. Also, there were demographic factors. One of the factors is that land is inherited, and therefore, the older generation were not ready to adopt the new cultivar. The young generation who wanted to adopt didn't have land. So there was that tug of war. They want to adopt, but they don't have land. Another factor is that families in Mount Kenya region are highly patriarchal. And as a result, the decision on what clone to plant was mainly made by men. And if a man says no, that was the end. In conclusion, is that the cultivar has got high potential, although there were so many opportunities. But there's, as a way forward, there's the issue of some interventions have been made. Licensing of private processor, or processing of green and purple leaf has been accepted, installation of specialized processing line, and also provision of information and planting materials by TRI. Those are the recommendations whereby we recommend that there should be establishment of specialized processing line, training farmers on purple tea husbandry, enhancing promotion and marketing, and also continuous research and support of growing of purple tea. I'd wish to acknowledge Karatina University for funding this project. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Another round of applause for Julius. Thank you. So we have come to the end of this session, but before we do, we have a Q&A session, and I invite all the presenters to come forward for the session. We have just about 10 minutes to receive questions from the floor, and I would wish to invite, especially those who haven't asked any questions. I think there are those who have asked more than once. So for purposes of being democratic, I invite those who haven't asked any questions. And remember, we have been tackling the subject of climate change, the subject of energy. We have also addressed the issue of drought and the new technologies that we can use to mitigate or address the issue of drought through rural development. And then, of course, purple tea. So can I have questions, please? And ladies, you're also welcome to ask questions. Ladies, please, so that we are seen to be gender sensitive. Yes, I will start on this side. Number one. So please, Mike. Yeah. Number one on that side. Number two, from KTDA there. And then I jump this side, number three. And we'll take those three, then we'll come back for another round. Please start.
Thank you very much. We want to thank all the presenters for this session. I want to also appreciate the presentation by Dr. Hugo of Karatina University on purple tea. And I wanted to find out two issues. It has commonly been said that there are no markets for purple tea. I want to know whether this is a fact or this is a myth, and whether there has been any research on market outlets for purple tea, because we have to know the behavior at the market edge, or what is contemplated by scientists in respect to research on the markets for purple tea. Question number two, still on purple tea. I have special interest on purple tea because I manage a purple tea nursery with over 100,000 seedlings arising from the first popularization of purple tea by the KTDA stakeholders. I wanted to know, when you mix purple tea and green tea for processing, does it affect the quality outcomes in any way of the green tea products arising from that? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Badi.
Thank you very much. My name is Peter Mbadi from KTDA. My question will be directed to Dr. Barak, Papa of FAO. I remember you said that some time back, IGG and FAO agreed to carry out a survey on climate change adaptation and mitigation strategies, especially in Kenya. And this was done through Ministry of Agriculture. And I think great work was done through that process, that actually showed us a whole booklet which contained both the policy, the strategies, and also the implementation plan and matrix. And I believed and I remember this was taken up by the Minister of Agriculture and the Tea Directorate for the implementation of what was the outcome of those workshops. Now, my question is, what is the way forward? Because it seems the implementation stalled after some time when the Minister of Agriculture and the Tea Board or Tea Directorate started this process of forming a working group to implement some of the recommendations in that particular process. So my question is, what is the way forward on this?
Okay, thank you. I had somebody from this side. There was somebody from here who had raised his hand, please. Yes? Oh, the question has been captured. So let us give them at least a chance to answer those questions, and then we'll come back to the floor.
Okay, thank you for the questions. The first question is whether there are markets or there are no markets, whether these are myth or fact. Yesterday, in yesterday's presentation, the TRI said that theirs is to develop and other people to do research. As Karatina University, we did our research on the status and opportunities and the challenges. Now, we're in the process of doing research on market. However, going by Mr. Njero, who is one of the private entrepreneur, and he has market for it. We believe that the market is there. It's only a matter of popularizing what has been repeated here time and again, that we need to popularize the market, and I believe that the market is there. The other question was on the mix of purple tea, whether it affects the quality. I would want to say that that is an issue that maybe can be handled by TRI. We've not gone to that far. I don't know whether there's somebody who has an answer to that. Thank you.
Let me handle that particular bit of the question, mixing of purple tea leaf with green tea leaf. We have done some studies with the KTDA Kagaita Tea Factory, where we were mixing different ratios of purple leaf with the green leaf. We processed the tea into both black and green orthodox. And we sent these tea samples, processed tea samples to tea testers. And to our surprise, in some cases, the purple tea leaf was actually enhancing the quality of the green tea leaf in terms of the end product. It's only where we had maybe 80% purple tea leaf and 20% green leaf where there were issues, where the black tea tester would actually score very poorly the end product. But where we had between 20 to 60 purple to green, there was no adulteration, there was no effect on quality, and in some cases the quality was even better where the mixing was done. So maybe to add a little bit on the market issues, although there will be a presentation later in the day, by Rosalie, the challenges she is facing. Normally, as researchers, we normally get queries from international consumers, both abroad and even national. And what we do, we normally send these queries to KTDA, and some of the people that we know are processing bubble tea, like yellow tea industry. And what I must say is that in some cases, people or international buyers have asked whether any processor would be able to consistently supply maybe a ton of property product per year. And I don't think there's any person with such capacity currently. And you know, international buyers will not give you an order if you cannot be able to consistently supply the product. Thank you.
Thank you. So Barak?
Thank you for that question. Indeed, as he rightly put it, we led the process. All the players in this country were involved, and we came up with a strategy. The implementation was developed, and if you look at that implementation matrix, there were responsible institutions for each and every challenge that we met in the analysis. As FAO, we cannot push you to implement, but we are waiting for a proposal from you if you need any support from us. So KTDA had its responsibility, Tea Research Institute had its responsibility, Tea Board of Kenya now, Tea Directorate had its own responsibility. So we cannot push you beyond that. Please, we welcome your opinions and how you want to solve the problems that we identify together.
Yes, here.
Now, thank you. The question that is directed to me is on whether to reduce the green cultivar or to diversify. The best practice is to diversify. We encourage product diversification. However, with the decreasing, yesterday's presentation and today's morning presentation, it was noted that the size of land is not increasing. The population is increasing, but the size of land is not increasing. So that's where lies the challenge. But where land is available, diversification is the best. The question of changing of purple tea, green or purple, I gave to Martin. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, K. Martin, for your question. The question relates to change of color. The change of color, one thing is that it is a planned strategy of events which can enter retreat to keep its color or to keep it some of the aspect, because this is an issue to do with the gene expression. The gene responsible for pigmentation is declined, and then the gene responsible for other aspects is enhanced. So the only thing that can be done with this is that during the period when you have adequate pigmentation, you can enhance the processing of purple tea and orthodox. When it is green, this is the time when you can enhance the processing of black tea.
My question was asked. Excuse me. There is a question that was asked about TRI having collaboration studies with the Kenya Forest Research Institute, and I would like to answer yes. We have collaborative projects with the Kenya Forest Research Institute, and we have also done screening of potential tree species which could be used in the tea plantations. And out of our studies, we have recommended Melissia dura, Kirevilla robusta, Sespania sespans, and also Macamia lutea. And apart from that, we also recommend that for every hectare of tea, you need to have, for every 4 hectares of tea, you need to have 1 hectare of forest field.
Yes, I'd like to answer a question raised by Mr. Mechich on availability of new corn, especially drought-tolerant corns that are adaptable to various regions. I would like to say that tea research has been carrying out studies on chrono-adaptability trials, collaborating with all KTDA and all the other tea stakeholders like Nyao Tea Zone, because we do not have testing sites in other areas other than Kericho and Kirogoya. And what we discovered is that their clones or cultivars are suitable in different areas. Some of them are on their way to release, others are yet to be released. But some of the new clones, Dr. Bole listed a list of released clones. The latter ones are actually some of the new drought-tolerant clones that are suitable for various regions. And we have already been given permission to release them to the industry by KEVIS, and therefore we shall be popularizing them in the course of this year and next year so that our farmers can adopt them. They are high yielding, high quality, and they're also highly resilient and adaptive drought tolerance to drought damage. Thank you.
So thank you, presenters. Let us give them a round of applause. Yes. And also thanks to the audience. Let's applaud ourselves for being active. Thank you very much. So I return the mic back to the MC.
Thank you very much. Please do remain seated there. I noticed a little disquiet about one of the answers, and I feel compelled to proceed just to get a clearer response. If you plant purple tea, if you plant purple tea, and then it turns green, it grows green during drought, does it mean that you no longer have all the benefits of purple tea if you harvest it and produce it? Was that the general question? Yeah. So, Mr. Maritim, your response was, if it turns green, then work on the black tea. Or that's what I gathered. So please just help us understand that.
Maybe I can help. I can help you answer that. Apparently, the purple color, for those of you who come from Europe or America, where you have winter, during autumn, and you can bear me witness, you see certain plants change color, isn't it? And you find the plants, especially the trees, will get some purple coloration. And the plant is responding to climate change, to change in weather conditions. And these anthocyanins are actually produced by the plant to protect them, especially from UV irradiation. And the chemicals themselves are those that are responsible for the health benefits that we talked about here. What happens is that the amount of anthocyanins, that pigmentation, varies in the course of the year, season to season. And you maximize anthocyanins when it is during very wet and cold conditions. When it gets very hot and dry, the level of anthocyanins decrease. That's not to say they are lost completely, they decrease. That's not to say they are not there, they only decrease. And therefore what we are saying is that the best purple tea is processed when you have the right environmental conditions. That's when you get the best purple tea with maximum levels of anthocyanins. In the same way, when we process black tea, the precursors for quality also vary with seasons. And catechins, for example, will also vary with seasons. And they are least when growth rate is highest, when you have very robust growth rate. And I think Philip O'Rourke here did make that very clear yesterday. So in the same line, what we are saying, even when you process black tea, it's never standard throughout the year, because the precursor molecules that are responsible for quality are never the same throughout the year. And that is why in KTD areas, east of Rift, you produce your best teas when it is during the cold season, the Gavano season. That's when you get your best quality of black tea. So the same does apply for purple tea. There are those seasons that you will get the best purple tea. There are those seasons where your quality will be less than optimal as a consequence of the changes that take place within the plant in its response to the environment. And so what he was giving you is a practical solution. If you feel that you're not going to maximize on the purple tea during the dry season, you can as well process it differently. And then maximize on it when it has the maximum amount of anthocyanins.
Thank you very much. And in total, I think climate change is important that there be stability in our climate. Can we give them a round of applause and appreciate the time that they put in preparing? And I believe Sarah is there. Sarah is there. Thank you very much. Please do receive the tokens of appreciation as I make some very quick announcements. Kindly collect your lunch vouchers from the Secretariat. The ushers will help you in directing you if you don't know where that is. The afternoon session, we start again at 2:15. I think that's the time we will begin again. The speakers and chairs for the afternoon session, please do come here. The afternoon session will be chaired by Mr. Edward Mudibo. We do not have Dr. Flora Mutai joining us. And then finally, we're looking forward to a recap and a way forward by Professor Awar. He's been listening very carefully and being very critical and appreciative of everything that's being shared, and the official closing at the end also by the Director General of AFA. All beverages are courtesy of Ketepa, that's part of the KTDA holdings. The FAO IGG on tea, that begins tomorrow. And kindly, registration will take place between 7:30 and 8:45 o'clock tomorrow. That's the 22nd session taking place tomorrow. And you're asked to be ready and seated for the opening ceremony at 9 o'clock. Two more announcements. The ITC meeting for all its delegates will be held at the boardroom. And finally, you all received the flyer regarding the Colombo International Tea Convention, celebrating 150 years. I think Mr. Rohan announced that here in August 2017.